Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. And you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong in my video this morning because it looks like we just did the complete opposite of what I proposed could happen. But the funny thing about that is if I would have done a very bullish video this morning, something tells me, well, I recorded that actually last night and scheduled it for this morning. But anytime I do a video like that after a long period, the opposite generally always happens. And I thought to myself, truly a conscious decision, I'm going to do a bearish video, because if I do a bearish video, if I'm wrong, then that's great for all of us. And if I'm right, it'll only be temporary anyway. So, yeah, that was my thought process, but it just happened a little quicker than I expected. So we're going to look at what's actually happening right now in real time. And then I'm going to put this out today. So looking at Bitcoin's price now, we basically can see all of these areas of liquidity, right? We can see that towards the top here around the $70,500 mark, there's still a lot of bearish liquidity. And we touched on that briefly back in July. All right. So this was basically a point after the big pump in March. And we started really working ourselves down. We have 3 touches to the bottom here. The most recent being, really pulled right into the $52,000 mark very early of this month. And we pumped all the way back up to around where we're kind of bouncing at now, which was around the $66,500 level. And you can see this red bar of liquidity. And you can also see my indicator that I haven't used in a while, but Crypto Chef has been using it a lot lately, apparently. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to check it back. I'm going to check it out again because he pointed out how the strong flying crow signal appeared right here. And if I would have taken that trade, which I'm kind of like sad that I didn't, but if I would have taken that trade from the point where this triggers, I could have that could have been like a 12.5% trade. So that's pretty good, I'm going to say. And if I were at leverage at all, that would have been, much, much bigger. So we did bounce back from that and came all the way back down here into bullish liquidity. So this was a period where it was almost catapulted from where we're at now. Now we're on a daily candle here. So it basically wicked all the way down into this bullish liquidity at around 58,900. We'll just call it 59,000, and then started pumping back up. And you can see that this channel is getting more and more narrow. So with the channel getting more narrow, it's basically we're in a position now where it's a question of, are we going to break out of this channel to the upside? Or are we going to break to the downside? And I'm going to hazard a guess that because this is basically a bearish channel, it's actually bullish because we got a significant rally all the way up here. We've worked ourselves basically in a consolidation pattern slowly to the downside, at which point we're very likely going to end up breaking out of this. And, that's what we're basically looking at. So could we get another dip down here, maybe into this bullish liquidity area at around 59,000 and then pump out? That's what I expect to see. And I honestly, and I know what some of you guys are going to say, you were just so wrong this morning. How could you be right now? I don't buy it. But I definitely do see us doing something to this effect and then starting to run up into a new all-time high. And it could very well happen. Listen, we're in October 14th. And if October is going to be, in fact, October, we're going to pump out of this into a new all-time high by the end of the month. And we could get somewhere into the, closer to the $80,000 range by the end of this month. And there's a lot going on in the crypto space. So it's very, very likely. But we got to get through this bearish liquidity up here around the $69,000, $70,000 area first. I think it's absolutely probable, if not just possible. So we'll see how that pans out. Looking at Cardano's price, this is nothing new. This is a daily chart, and we got a weak diving crow here at around the 35-cent level before we continued all the way down to 33 cents. And this, again, this is a similar situation, but much more exaggerated. And, I've shown in previous videos that the Cardano price, it's ready for a tear. But in order for us to get this substantial tear, which we've got to break through all of these red bars, this bearish liquidity, this to me, I can't help but feel like this is absolute suppression of Cardano's price. And while that sucks, we've shown that we can absolutely tear out of it. So it's not like it's the end of the world. We really ripped out of it all the way back here in July, August. I mean, we can get some really solid tears to the upside, but it's one of those things that it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. You can see here, we went all the way from 49 cents, ripped all the way up to around 81 cents in this chart. This was the pump in March along with Bitcoin. So it's not that it's not going to happen. It's not that it can't happen. It's just to move Cardano's price because of the number of tokens in circulation, while the number that are being delegated to staking nodes and the number of nodes and all of that stuff continues to rise, the number of active wallets continues to go up month after month. The on-chain metrics are absolutely there, but there are people who maybe bought in at, certain price points, and they're saying, you know what, Cardano just doesn't move the way other stuff in the market moves. I don't really know anything about it, so I'm just going to try and sell it for what I got into it. And we're going to see some of that. But here's what's going to happen. This is going to become a situation where the weak hands who don't understand Cardano and what it's building are going to end up selling into the hands of those that do. And those that do are very likely going to fare very, very well by the 2025 market. And so it's just the way it is. And that's just the way trading goes. And then people are going to take some of that money and they're going to put it into other assets that they think are going to perform significantly better. And the only thing that I say is that I know people do that. I've done that, not necessarily with Cardano, but other projects. But the way I look at this market, after having been in this market since 2017, is thus. I look at other assets as being potentially more financially fruitful in the short term, but far too scary to risk my major bags on it. And by that, I mean, so many of these projects, they enter the space with a lot of venture capital money, marketing money, a lot of KOL funds. They go after all of us on YouTube to promote their tokens. But then what happens when that starts to die down? Unless they keep those machines moving, which more often than not, they don't, because it's a matter of getting that initial entry into the market, pumping, and building momentum. And then from there, it's about the announcements, right? What's launching on it, so forth. So, but that starts to peter out, that starts to die down in favor of the next shiny thing. So we're seeing some of that happening now. What I do know about Cardano is it's been in the space since 2017. It's continued to build. It's got so much going on. We're going to cover some of that here in just a minute. And I just consider Cardano very risk averse for me. Maybe I don't get to $10 or $15 by 2025, but that's okay. If I see a $5 to $8 ADA in 2025, I'm gleefully happy. I don't need my Cardano to go up 30x, 50x, 100x. And the thing of it is that the people that are playing the market expecting those kinds of returns because of all of the influencers out there pumping various tokens in favor of the potential for that kind of return, folks, a lot of that is paid for. I mean, when I go to websites like Crypto Panic because I want to try and find news, if I just plug in Cardano, because I want to get the latest Cardano news, what do I see? 90% of them are paid articles promoting the next shiny thing, whether it's the next meme coin or the next project, and they use Cardano in the headlines as kind of a scapegoat, because they try to capitalize on the Cardano community. And so there's so much of this paid narrative out there trying to pull people out of their Cardano bags and into this next shiny thing that's likely going to just be the next pump and dump. And I see people get caught up in that no matter what those of us in the crypto space say. And a lot of people people out there believe that we're doing this, that we're saying these things because we're trying to protect our own bags. Listen, folks, most of us that are hardcore Cardano have been here for years. We've seen all this over and over and over again. And so we're not fazed by it. And what we're trying to do really is we're trying to educate people. If you look at the people that make up the majority of the Cardano community, they're tech people. They're people that care. They're people with integrity. They're people that value the value propositions of the Cardano blockchain, such as decentralization and scalability and throughput and all of the advancements that are happening to empower the public and its holders, as well as those that are building within its ecosystem. We genuinely care about that stuff. And so a lot of other people in the space, they really only care about number go up. They only care about, well, I want to buy it today and I want to cash out tomorrow at 100x. The problem with that mentality is that, what do they say? A fool and his money are easily parted. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I'm not trying to call everyone in crypto a fool, but what I'm saying is that when you're chasing that greedy mentality and you're chasing gains with greed in your heart, it's very likely you're exactly the type of person that's going to be captured by a lot of the fake headlines, the fake news, and a lot of the sellout influencers that are happy to take money in exchange for steering you in a bad place. They're going to make money regardless of what you do. They're not really interested in trying to educate you on the best ways to protect yourself in the space. Some of them genuinely do promote these projects, believing they're going to do very well and they're going to go up and everybody's going to make a lot of money. There's a lot of people that are like that, and to each their own. But there are also a lot of very dishonest people in the crypto space, and they're always looking for their next mark. And I myself, I know Dan, I know a lot of guys in the crypto space who genuinely care about people that watch our videos do well and protect themselves as best they can, and to try and stay away from a lot of the garbage that's out there. So that's that. Now I'm going to touch a little bit and remind people on a couple things going on. I don't want this video to be too much longer than 12 minutes. Cardano founder to meet Argentina President Javier Milei. A lot of people compare Javier Milei as like the Argentinian Trump. And he's just a brash, just in your face. I'm doing this because it's the right thing. I don't care about the noise. And they're making some very, very big headways. Now, this article is old, but I wanted to remind everybody what's coming. This is happening on the 19th. Hoskinson is heading to the Tech Forum Argentina to discuss the future of blockchain in a conversation with the Argentine president planned for October 19th. The Cardano founder told Cointelegraph in an interview. This is going to be a really big deal. I'm actually insanely excited about this because I think there's a lot. I know that there's a lot that Argentina is looking to do, and Milei himself is looking to do to basically help the ecosystem in Argentina on the blockchain. And they've already issued like the first the first law, or the first, I forget exactly what the details are, but I think it was like $10,000 worth of ADA. They locked in some sort of a DeFi application that is lawful. So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in Argentina. I can't wait for this meeting to happen. My question is how long is it going to be? Let's just say they go out there and Charles just wows everybody. And he's like, listen, these are all of the things that we can do. We can implement your voting. We can implement DeFi. We can implement all of these things on a blockchain that, unlike some of the others out there, never go down. It hasn't been hacked. The one time somebody tried to hack it, they lost their money. I mean, it's like you've got a blockchain that literally defends itself on the offensive. And it's very, very interesting. So I'm very curious to see what comes of this. I can't wait. I think there's a lot happening. I'm going to cover this in more detail in the near future. And then just to let you guys know, Cardano's Midnight project is set to unify major blockchains through a focus on aligned incentives, including the Glacier drop. Now, basically what this is, and I know a lot of people are talking about it now, but Charles has brought up how, this midnight airdrop is going to be unlike anything else out there. It's going to be unlike anything that's ever happened. And basically what's going to happen is 135 million wallet addresses are going to be receiving midnight tokens that they are then going to be able to mine. And ultimately, the way I look at it is it's like an invitation to get free tokens on the Midnight blockchain. But in order to obtain them, you have to participate in the ecosystem. So it doesn't matter what blockchain, whether it's Bitcoin, Solana, it doesn't matter what blockchain you're on. Any of the major blockchains that are integrated into this airdrop, you're all going to get the ability to mine tokens by participating in the ecosystem. This is going to be a really big deal because nobody's ever done anything like it. And what that's ultimately going to do, whether it's through greed or genuine interest in what this blockchain is capable of doing, it's going to draw a lot of attention to the Cardano blockchain. And I think that depending on how, we're still waiting on some of these details. I'd love to have some of these folks on in the not so distant future to really break down how this is going to work. I don't even think those details have been revealed yet, but I would love to be somebody that can bring this to everyone because I think it's going to be such a big deal. So I'm just going to leave it there. We're going to cover this all in more detail in the future, but I'm going to really start making a concentrated effort to keeping my videos between 12 to 15 minutes. I've already gone a little over on this one. So until next time, thanks for joining me. Crow your coins, and I'll see you soon. If you'd like to read news about politics, cryptocurrency, finance, tech, artificial intelligence, gaming, and more, check out twistedtimes.io. This is my news website that I've created that utilizes artificial intelligence, RSS feeds, and rewrites the news in a non-biased way that just gives you the details about what's going on in the world. Any one of these articles is going to be comical, interesting, a fun read. You're going to learn a lot. It's real news. None of the details have been changed, just the way it's been written so that it doesn't basically brainwash you or insult you while you read. If you're an intelligent individual that just likes news for what it is, just to know what's going on in the world, check out twistedtimes.io, bookmark it, check it every day. New articles flow in constantly. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you on twistedtimes.io.